my name is Humphrey Darnar, and I'll be going through module 5 of our course handout, working with tables and forms. We will focus on using HTML tables for structured data presentation, HTML forms for collecting user input. After my presentation of this module, we will understand how to create and structure HTML tables, table row, table head, table data. We will use attributes, the code span, row span, table head, table body, table foot. We will utilize form attributes, action, method, name, placeholder, required. And we'll understand the different input types, the text, the password, email, radio, checkbar, file, and submit. The HTML table has a table row, table head, table data. HTML tables allow the display of structured data in a row and column format. So we'll look at the basic syntax.
Firstly, you have to set your table, enter the table border, followed by your table row. When you enter your table row, you have to tell the web that this table row I'm putting, I want the table head, name, and age. So it will identify it as the head of the table. Before you enter your name or the data of the table, you still need to open another table row. Everything will fall within the table, like you can see on the example here. Before you do this, all you need to do is to download or to open your Visual Studio Code, and then you enter all these value, all this coding you see here. You're going to see how the tables work. HTML. So basic syntax, this is how it works.
We want to look at some key aspects. Each time you see table, it defines the table. TR means it's the table row. Each time you see TH, it defines the table header. And each time you see TD, it defines the table data cell, it defines it. So let's look at number 2, the table attributes, the code span, row span, the T head, the table head, the table body, and the table foot. So first we want to look at the merging cell. And when you look at the code span, what it does is that it merges multiple columns into a single cell. And at the row span, it merges multiple rows into a single cell. Let's look at an example of merging cells.
So this is an example of how the code span or the merging cell look like or work. We have our full name, we have the age, and we got John on the table data, and we got Doe for the last name, and we get the age. So now let's see how the code span apply on our table. So that's our first table we created. Now let's look at how the merging cell applies on our table. So right on that example, merging cell. So when you look at the coding, you see the code span to the table head, and it is set to 2. The table head is equal to code span equal 2. So when you enter the value there, say 2, then you say full name. You're trying to tell the web that the full name should be merged into 2 columns. John should be merged with Doe.
Let's look at the table section. So the table head, it groups a table head, a table body, or T body, meaning it groups a table body content. T foot or table foot, it groups a table footer content. So let's look at example structuring a table with sessions.
So on the example here, we already have our table, like previously we have our table already. So you have to group this table with session. So the first session will be structuring or grouping will be the table head. You have to open the T head. Within the T head, you got the table row, and that table row will be the table head as well. That will be the name and the age. You close it and you close the T head. So when you close it, you have grouped the name and the age, and if you come again to the next one, that will be the T body. So the T body now will be the table data. So you structure it with session by applying the same. You open your T body, you enter the table row, that will be the data now. When you enter it, you close it same way. So you are already structured the the table data session. So the last session from our example will be the T foot. So you want to group the table footer content. So the T foot, you will have to say the T the table data now will be equal to quote span. You want to merge the two, so it should be equal to total entries 1, and you close your table row followed by closing your T4. So let's see how it will appear on our web page. When I come back, I will continue with HTML forms.
So welcome back. So HTML forms, including the form, the input, the text area, the body, the select, and option. So forms allow users to submit information to a website for processing. Now let's look at the basic center.
That's the basic center and how it appears on the web page.
So forms defines a form, and the input is used for user input, and label, what it does is that it provides a description for an input field. The button, what it does is that it creates a clickable button. Let's look at form attributes. The attribute including the action, the method, the name, the placeholder are required. The action specifies where the form data should be sent. The method, it defines how the data is sent, whether it's a get or it's a post. So the name, it identifies the form field for several processing. A placeholder, it displays a hint text to an input field. So required, it ensures the field must be filled before submission. Let's look at the example of field and placeholder.
That's the example and how it appears on the web. So if you look in it, it's telling you to please fill out this field.
Let's look at the next one, input tab. It includes the text, password, email, radio, checkbook, file, and submit. Let's look at the usage for the text. So the text is used for a single line text input. And let's look at the password. It's a mass enter text. Come to the email usage, the validate email addresses. The radio is select one option from multiple choices. So whether you get a lot of choice, it's select one, meaning that you only got to click one. Let's look at the checkbox. It's used to allow multiple selection. If you look at the word file, it's used for uploading file. Lastly, we got the submit. It's just to submit your form data. Let's look at an example of what we just said.
This is the coding and this is how it will appear on the web. As you can see, everything is taking effect.
To conclude with model 5, HTML tables, they organize the structured data using table row, table head, table data. And a table attribute like the quote span and row span, it help merge cells like we said in our example. And HTML form, they use input, they use body, and they use let to collect user information. And thank you for watching.